Greetings, friends. I'm Yvonne O'Neill, a founding member of the Episcopal Diocese of New York Task Force on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. Thank you for joining me for this special episode as we mark Break the Silence Sunday and the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Every year, from November 25th to December 10th, people around the world unite for the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. These dates matter deeply. November 25th is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and December 10th is Human Rights Day. Together, they remind us that violence against women is one of the most pervasive violations of human rights in the world. This global campaign, led by the United Nations Unite to End Violence Against Women initiative, calls on all of us, governments, civil society, and yes, faith-based communities, to raise awareness and take action to end gender-based violence in all its forms. Within our own Episcopal Church, the 80th General Convention of 2022 designated the Sunday closest to November 25th as Break the Silence Sunday, a day when our churches add their voices, their prayers, and their witness to this global movement to end gender-based violence. This year, that Sunday falls on November 30th, 2025, the first Sunday of Advent, a season of waiting, hoping, and preparing. What better time to proclaim healing, liberation, and love for those who have suffered? Our 2025 Break the Silence Sunday Toolkit includes worship resources, sermon preparation pointers by the Reverend Bill Baker, prayers, and a moving Eucharist of healing, hope, and liberation created by the Reverend Dr. Carrie Pemberton Ford of the Church of England. It also carries letters from presiding Bishop Sean Rowe and Bishop Matthew Hyde, who remind us that breaking silence is how God's transforming work begins. Gender-based violence touches everyone. It cuts across age, race, class, and faith. In every congregation, there are victims and survivors, and yes, sometimes perpetrators, sitting quietly in our pews. Worldwide, 1 in 3 women experiences physical or sexual violence in her lifetime. Every 10 minutes, a woman or girl is killed by a partner or family member. This year's 16 Days Campaign UN theme is Unite to End Digital Violence Against All Women and Girls. Online spaces have become new frontiers of harm. Image-based abuse, cyberbullying, deepfakes, stalking, hate speech. These acts may begin online, but their damage is real, and too often they spill over into real life and can lead to victims committing suicide. Our task is to confront it, expose it, and end it. Because silence protects the oppressor, not the oppressed. As Bishop Hyde writes, healing begins when we listen, transformation begins when we act. Break the Silence Sunday is not simply a liturgical observance. It is a moral commitment. It calls us to make our churches safe havens where survivors can find refuge, dignity, and healing. The Episcopal Diocese of New York Task Force on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault began our ministry in 2013 with one mission: to help congregations talk openly about violence, to train clergy and lay leaders to respond with compassion, and to create spaces where no one must live in fear. There are many ways, some simple, all powerful, for all of us to participate. Observe Break the Silence Sunday. Preach, pray, light candles, and name the reality of abuse. Wear orange during the 16 days to orange the world for a brighter future. Wear black on Thursdays. Join in the World Council of Churches campaign for a world without rape and violence. Join our December 4 webinar, Proclaiming Hope in Uncertain Times, Violence Against Women and Girls, From Stigma to Liberation. This webinar combines this year's UN Global Theme, Unite to End Digital Violence Against All Women and Girls, with the broad spectrum of violence against women and girls, from femicide and female genital mutilation to menstrual stigma and victim blaming, by highlighting how these forms of violence are mirrored, amplified, and perpetuated in digital spaces. Online harassment, misogyny, and cyber violence are part of the same continuum of harm, making the digital dimension essential to the conversation. And of course, pray daily. The Mothers Union has a beautiful 16-day prayer diary for this season. Each act of solidarity matters. Each word of witness chips away at the silence. When we talk openly about violence, we dismantle shame. When faith communities educate and act, we break the cycle of silence. And when we affirm that every person is made in the image of God, we live out our baptismal promise to respect the dignity of every human being. Ending gender-based violence is not only a women's issue. It is a human issue, a gospel issue, and a justice issue. When we live into that truth, the church becomes a beacon of light and courage. To get involved, I invite you to visit the Episcopal Diocese of New York's website to download the Break the Silence Sunday Toolkit. Watch videos of our past webinars, which are linked in the toolkit. And please sign up for our December 4th webinar and the December 10th webinar of the Anglican Communion, Acting in Hope, Prayers and Witnessing for a Safe World for Women and Girls. And please explore the resources linked in our toolkit. We have the toolkit from Episcopal Relief and Development and wonderful pertinent information from partners such as Futures Without Violence, RAINN, and the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Most of all, start the conversation where you are. You never know whose healing might begin because you chose to speak. The crisis of gender-based violence is immense, but so is our faith. We believe in a God who heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Let us work together until violence shall no longer be heard in our land. And so, my friends, wear orange, speak truth, break silence, and live as beacons of Christ's love until every woman and girl can live free from violence online and offline. This is Yvonne O'Neill. Thank you for listening, and thank you for standing with us to break the silence.
Trying to find my Yeah.